Hello guys, DJ Aaron here. I haven't done a studio tour video since last month, and I'm going to do one for you guys. So here is the studio tour video. I changed quite a few things around. For most of you who has followed my YouTube channel for quite a while, you knew that I had two CD decks. Now I changed it down to one. And the reason why I changed it down to one is because I want to kind of try and save space. So I have this CD changer. It's pretty much more than what I need. I could throw about 6 CDs in here. Throw it on shuffle if I wanted to, like pre-show wise or something. I could throw a couple of CDs in there and we'd be good to go. Up here I got the old Sony turntable out. I've had this turntable since 2008 and it has survived really well. It does work automatic wise. So if we hit start and it drops, there we go. It still works pretty good. Still works pretty flawlessly, and I see no reason in stopping using this turntable. And I like the size selector switch here, so that way I can do 33s and 45s. Nice thing about the 45 function, I could just hit start, automatically cue it to the beginning, and then when I get closer to when I'm doing the 45, if you guys could probably see, I can hit the release and then it starts playing. But anyways, that's pretty cool, and it pretty much saves time with that. So I'm going to pause this and we'll go to the next clip with the magic of video editing. Okay, moving on, we have this Alto Professional ZMX 862. It's a phenomenal mixer for what I use it for the show. I mean, I have 1/4-inch inputs, I have XLR inputs, only 2 for each input source. And then I have these stereo inputs, which the Sony turntable is plugged into. And then I think I have the iDJ3 plugged into the other. I have gains for each channel. I use a 1/4-inch mic, and at times the 1/4-inch mic, if you turn the gain down too much, you won't hear anything. And I always manage to get called during a fucking video. Alright, so we'll just decline that Skype call. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, gain structure. You always want to make sure your gain structure is pretty much set accordingly, because you don't want to have distortion on a stream and stuff like that. So, especially with Flash Media Live Encoder, you don't want to have distortion, and that could play a big factor in everything that you do. And one of the reasons why I use a mixer like this is so I can better my audio during the live stream, etc. You know, I have a web camera. The web camera's audio is basically never used, except for Skype calls, which we'll do them quite a bit on the show, and I'll just tap them into the next bit of software, or the next bit of equipment that I have. Right here is a bit of equipment that I've had in my setup for a long time, ever since 2011. This is the Numark iDJ3. This controller actually is very awesome because I get to cue my songs as if I was to queue up an actual CD. Only I'm using MP3s to manipulate like the hard copy of the music. These jog wheels, they work as pretty much scratching, etc. Going through songs backwards, forwards, etc. You know, you have different buttons for EQ and auto loop. You have pitch control. You have another pitch control. One of my pitch controls don't work, and if I try to move this slider on the other pitch control, it screws up the software, so I don't want to do that. So I pretty much keep the pitch control at stationary, which is in the center. The only way I could change pitch now is the pitch bend. So I still have control over pitch, just got to use the pitch bend now. We have the EQs. I always leave my highs turned up because you know, the mixer, this hardware mixer, will barely pick up the iDJ3's EQ. So if the EQ is flat on the iDJ3, it will hardly pick it up. So I got to crank the highs up on the iDJ3, which ain't bad. Actually, it sounds a lot better than what it normally would be at flat. Also, we have the play pause button. We have Q. This is pretty much how I control all of my music. So if you're wondering how I control all my music, that's how I do that. You know, on a basic Friday night, I would have a song queued up. I press play, and it would start. When another one is done, I go over to deck B, and I press play, etc. These buttons are pretty robust. They haven't broken yet, so they're pretty robust. I've tapped the shit out of these, and they're still robust. They haven't broken. That's ingenuity of Newmark. The buttons haven't broken yet, so that's a good thing. Pretty sturdy, but if you accidentally drop this and break the pitch control, you're pretty much out of a pitch control because those break easily. So usability still is user friendly. I am going to switch out this USB cord because I need a longer one. For now, this gray cord actually worked. I got another cord over there. Just got to replace it with a higher quality, more high density cable. Built-in sound card, so anything going RCA will go into here. So that's what I like about it. But other than that, I haven't really had any issues with the iDJ3. Moving on to the next thing in the studio. If you guys remember this 19-inch HP monitor, well, I guess you guys kind of do. Now, what I use this for is for the laptop computer, which is also right here. I use the monitor with it now, so if I am, you know, queuing songs, it's actually a lot easier because it fits the dimensions of the laptop's screen. So anything that I do for show, I'll have FMLE up on here. So demonstration here. Keep the little screw holes. Alright, just plug it in a little bit. So we got the monitor hooked in. So I could bring a bit of software up. Let's bring up Virtual DJ. Whoops, I don't have the controller plugged in. And it's gonna bitch that I don't have it plugged in. which always usually happens with Windows. So I'm going to plug this in real quick, and then you're going to see that it lights up. Sorry that I'm taking too long for this studio tour, but I want to show you guys exactly how I got this set up. So we have the controller. It normally just stays on this screen, but if I wanted to move it over to, let's just say, this screen, and I didn't get a full screen on there, but you guys kind of get the idea. I'm having a little hard of a time dragging it, but it kind of fits the width and stuff of the screen. But I kind of like skins that, you know, kind of fit the screen. The newer virtual DJs, they have spots where you can open them up on different screens, like I'll demonstrate here in a bit. So I'm going to minimize Skype here. So I could take a virtual DJ LE, which is this guy right here. He too will open up on this screen, but I can assign it to go to another screen. Now, virtual DJ 8 will open up more likely on, no, I don't, let's just go ahead and update this while we're at it. I haven't updated virtual DJ 8 in a while, so we're going to update it. Now normally, always when that stuff comes up, okay, now we can drag it because it wasn't. Okay, so now we could drag this over and it's going to fit the entire screen now. We can have this open on this screen if we really wanted to. And look at that. Virtual DJ 8 actually fits the dimensions of this screen. And now what we can do is actually works for my controller, and I can do this. And since I have this set up to go through actual speakers now, since I don't have anything plugged in, speaker high definition. Okay, so controller works on, so apparently I wonder how long this lasts though on the controller, because this is not a valid version to do so. We can actually change that. IDJ3. Okay, and now we could have it go through the IDJ3, but we could change it to the computer back to the computer speakers if we wanted to. This is so customizable. This is a free version of 8, and it already works with my controller. So it works rather well. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. Okay, and I'm shocked. It didn't even give me a warning that it would actually use my controller for however long. So I don't know. Maybe it has full controller support for free. Who knows? But this is crazy because, you know, I normally don't use this for the controller. But if we do this and we do that, see where it will open. Yeah, it will open up on the second screen that it does. Okay. Okay, so it didn't even warn me that my controller would last for 10 minutes. So it actually detected it, and I guess it works. So I could load a song and a track in there. So given the amount of time for it to actually work, I don't know, maybe they gave us free support for our controllers. Interesting. So that's strange. That is very strange. So that's the setup for the actual computer, for the laptop computer. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next clip. What you guys didn't see for a long time was this Radio Shack mixer. Yes, it is falling apart a little bit, but it still works very well. No issues, except for maybe one part of the EQ is out. Maybe I do need to clean that at some point. But I do believe the CD changer is on one of these faders. So we're going to do something here. Grab the CD, and I'm going to put a CD in. Just to make sure it all works. Okay. Alright, press play. Alright. Yep, still works perfectly. Still works just fine. This Radio Shack mixer has been in my setup for a long time, and I guess you know, with age, certain things just pretty much just fall apart a little bit. As you can see right here, that doesn't even stay there anymore. I've been trying to get it to stay. I guess I can kind of tape it down or something, but what good is that going to do? But, you know, I've had this mixer since late 2004, early 2005, and it still works just fine. The only thing that doesn't work anymore is the LED lights down here. The meter still works. The only thing that's probably out a little bit is one of the EQ sliders on the EQ. So eventually I'll have to clean it, and hopefully that gets better. And but when it's in its position like it is now, it works just fine. So it's probably a should I say a dirty contact or something. So I'm going to have to clean that eventually. Might have to, you know, clean it. Taking this mixer apart is easy. It's just a top plate and it just comes right off, so not bad. So it is kind of due for cleaning again. So yeah, the Radio Shack mixer still works, and plan on plugging more into it. As you can probably see up there, you could see maybe just one cable plugged in, but I plan on getting the mini disc plugged in at some point, and something else plugged in. Maybe get a tape deck or something, plug it into that. Maybe do some tapes for the show as well, which would be nice. You know, having a secondary mixer for an input mixer, and then using the main one for stream out to go to the stream. But yeah, it's been really reliable, this mixer has, and I've used it for several years. Still use it, but only as an input mixer. We put this laptop in on the last clip, or the last couple of clips. Actually, I'm gonna do this laptop here. This is a Toshiba Satellite from 2014, running Windows 10 Home, which is the 64-bit version of Home. It has been very reliable. I haven't really had any issues with Windows 10. I mean, there has been some people out there saying that there has been a few issues with Windows 10. Typically, I don't see any of the issues that people have. It has been running very smooth. Even hooked up to a monitor, it's been running very smooth. So, I haven't really had any issues with Windows 10. Not any that I could think of. So it has been running really reliable. I use it as a streaming computer as well. Which brings me to my other point. As I was messing around with this computer trying to get settings set to possibly stream, I came across a setting called Mic In. And you have to really look. They disguise the line in as a mic in. So you have to really look and really look hard, because it is pretty much mic in. All it is line in disguise. So you got to really look. So I plugged the jack in. You know, thinking maybe, you know, etc. All it shows is just a microphone, right? So, not only that, I had to go into actual settings. Now look, mic in at front panel, black. Okay, so I had to go in and set this up for line in, which is disguised as mic in. It should have just said line in, front panel, etc. instead of mic in. But whatever, it's the same thing. It does the stream in stereo, etc. and it does what it's supposed to do. And I don't have to worry about putting an older computer through hell just to stream, you know. So kind of got that situated and done. So, and every time I plug in the jack, I have it set to listen to this device. Now this may sound stupid, but I have it set to listen to this device because I don't always know that the audio itself would distort when I tried setting it up before. So now I have it set up to listen to this device. Now I could have it set not to do it, but I choose to have it set up so I could adjust my levels accordingly if I really wanted to. And then during the show I just mute it, so whatever I'm hearing is being heard through the powered speaker that I'm going to show you guys here in just a minute after I clear things off here. Alright, so anyways, so I can monitor things before I go live in stream, because, you know, trying to reset the audio, you know, try and reset the audio from, you know, like listening level. It gets kind of hard because sometimes you get distortion and etc. you want to try and turn it down a little bit. So this is where this listen to this device comes in. So I can unplug the jack. It'll still be there until I close the audio mixer. So we bring up the audio mixer again. Bring up the volume mixer in Windows. It will still be there, but nothing's going through it. So, yeah, it's pretty good how I have it all set up and monitored. Now, if I wanted to, I could set it back to headphones. No big deal. The only problem is I have to readjust my audio again when I switch it back. So, that too is not a big deal because, during show prep, I'm also prepping audio to work properly. So you guys are probably wondering, you have to reset your audio again? Well, 9 times out of 10, you will have to reset your audio, because if you set something to do one thing and you set it back to go do another thing, you have to reset all over again. So, I mean, it's not a big deal, but sometimes you wish something would remember settings, but sometimes that's not always the case, because once you're setting something up to do one function and you're setting something up to do another function, you just have to readjust things again, and it really isn't that bad to do that. So, which is moving on to the next thing. Alright, so you guys are probably thinking, why do I have one speaker? Well, we pretty much got this speaker to save money, and it was bought for a wedding ceremony and wedding reception, but I also use this in the studio, where it becomes very handy when I'm monitoring audio, like different sources, etc. It really comes handy because you never know when you're going to need it and all that stuff. Having a speaker in the studio also gives you an idea of, is your voice coming off okay, or is your music clipping, or etc. These things are pretty much a weighing factor, because you don't always know what will happen, and you really don't always know what is going to take place when you're doing audio for a show that is very popular out on the internet. And my show is very popular, so if you guys are wondering. Anyways, got this Gemini 8-inch active speaker just for DJing purposes, but it can also be used for studio-wise too. And it's only a mono speaker, so that is a pretty good benefit as well, because I'm not always going to hear things in stereo. So I have one speaker to monitor, in mono. So really isn't a bad thing. But if I want to monitor things in stereo, I just hook up a set of headphones, and that will work just fine. But you know how that stuff goes. Which, moving on to the next thing. Right, so I put this computer over here, the old HP desktop. A while ago, I was having internet issues with it. And I was thinking, having internet issues, and I think the chipset and USBs are getting old. Well, that's not the case. The network driver adapter, or the network drivers in Windows, refuse to work half the time. And, On newer hardware, it works fine. This laptop works fine under internet, but this old desktop doesn't under Windows anymore. So what I did is retire this computer completely as a stream computer because I was getting fed up with it. I decided, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw something else on it. So I threw another OS on it, and I'll show you guys what I threw on it. And I'm sure you guys got the idea in a video that I did a while back. So all this computer is used for is pretty much monitoring the stream and checking Facebook during the show and posting screenshots, etc. of the show. And the operating system in mention that is on this computer in a little bit as it attempts to boot up, which it will boot up eventually. It's just not starting up the animated Zorn screen. Oops, did I just give it away? Alright, so we're booting into the said OS. And yes, I did give it away. This is taking a little bit of time. But here it is, Zorn OS. This is used pretty much to monitor the stream, etc. I mean, it looks just like Windows 7, but with a little bit better look to it. So I'm going to go into the look changer here. Zorn theme changer. What if I don't want red? I want blue. There we go. What if I don't want black and I want the lighter color? Okay, that will work. Alright, so we theme changed it. So now the menu is a perfect light color. So this has things to mimic Windows 7. Now all this is used for, like I said again, is to pretty much monitor the stream on a particular show night. So I can go to my bookmarks. Screw off. Go to my bookmarks, and it's a little slow, a little sluggish today. Let's see here. Tad bit sluggish today, not too sluggish. Okay, so we can monitor the stream through, should I say? Procams are fucked up. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna turn those off. I'm gonna turn those off. Yeah, they kind of screwed up the Procams. I use this PC for just viewing the stream. Like if I were to start a broadcast over here, I could view the stream and all that stuff. See, they even did a notice. If you are seeing the Procams display vertically, please reload the page. This should fix the error. Well, if it fixes the error, then let's see here. Okay, there we go. Procams are back. Alright. Okay, so I had to fix something. Alright. So this computer is used for viewing the stream, and if I were to use Facebook, I would use Firefox. and I would just use Chrome for viewing the stream. Let's see here. I'll move Firefox over here. Go to Facebook. Okay, so we'll go to Facebook. So it makes it easier to monitor things, especially during shows. It does make it easier. So I would have Firefox viewing Facebook, and then I would have Chrome viewing the show, and I could chat. So that makes more sense when you guys think about it. So I have that. Which ain't bad. Just a little bit slow because the computer, you know, is old, you know. So you guys are wondering. Okay, so we'll just close that out. We'll close this out. I don't know if Zorin has any OS or any updates. Let's check. Here, we're just going to check for updates here. Okay, it's checking for updates, as you guys can see. Alright, Ubuntu base, install. Let's install that. Always have to do updates. Okay, so, you know, it's fairly easy to do updates on this system. Very easy. Okay, computer software is up to date. Alright, so now we could shut her down. Yes, I want to shut her down. Okay, so that's what that computer is for. Pretty much viewing the stream and checking Facebook wise. You know, not much to do with it, really. And also I get to go on guest cam with certain people. So that's nice. I get to use the computer for guest cams as well. If I don't want to use the laptop for guest cams, I could use the old desktop for guest cams. But anyways, that is kind of a video on this kind of long studio tour. Peace out, guys, and practice and enjoy.